My inventions are at your service.
And that's the one and only tier done. No more upgrades or new towers after this. Update 44 just dropped, and with every new update there are new bugs. This video I'll be using one of the more broken ones to beat a boss using only one tier. With some basic micro I can save some road spikes before buying the Quincy action figure. Geraldo's position doesn't really matter much, so he's going near the start for the bunny later on. With an FT placed down, I can start getting some shooty turrets. I'm choosing these placements for Jerry's fires on tier 1, but avoiding seeing the entrance for a reason that will become apparent later. With the first LEDs appearing, I'll explain why I chose this map. Without buying anything else, Geraldo gets Jerry's fires too late and you can't leak all the LEDs, so I have to use the crusher. I'm leaking some lives because it doesn't really matter, and I can rejuve the lives back later. With a camo potion on round 33 and a Jerry's fire on round 37, that's all for before the boss. With no rush to beat tier 1, I'll be beating this tier with Jerry's fires and turrets. Here pickling is worth it because the turrets do only 2 damage. I'll glue the first skull spawns, then mail the others. Some of you are probably thinking that this isn't the first ever 1 tier boss, and you would be right. However, correct me if I'm wrong, I am the first ever person to do this legit. This is actually my second run of this. I didn't record much of the first one. I'll link what I recorded of my first run in the description. You may also notice that the time that I did that run was after FBTD's run, meaning I'd be the second person, but that run is cheated. The main thing you need to know is that mods were used to make round 120 and round 121 last longer. But if someone asks in the comments, I'll pin a comment on everything that points to the run being faked. If you think this run is faked, which is fair enough, I'll link all the raw footage of this run in the description if you want to see it. Because of the nerfs to camo potion, on round 59 I have to use the bug that makes this whole thing possible. Rejuving refreshes Geraldo's whole shop. This only happened on version 44.0, so this has been patched. I assume this bug came about when they fixed the refresh cooldown button in Sandbox. After buying the 4th bunny, it's time for tier 2. Tier 2 is nothing special, just more turrets, fires, and genies to kill the boss and blade traps to kill the skull spawns. What are your thoughts on Mermonkey? I haven't used it much yet, but from what I've seen the Pierce buffs on top path don't seem to have many uses. The main attack has high Pierce, but that only seems useful in races, but the slow seems okay. The tier 5 allowing you to place water towers on land seems fun, and allowing favored trades on land maps helps farming. Middle path seems really good on maps with lots of walls. I've seen the tier 4 shred round 98 on dark dungeons. Bottom path looks very good for stalling. I've heard you can get almost full uptime on the tier 4 with overclock and drums. The more that I think about it, maybe the tier 5 repeatedly removing damage over time on bads and bosses isn't super OP. Nothing happens during the rounds between tier 2 and 3, so I'll be skipping straight to tier 3. Tier 3 is where I have to start using the rejuve bug for more boss damage. I don't have to use that many rejuves, just enough for a couple genies and fires at any given time. It's best to take my time killing the boss so the items can help both for boss damage and AI damage. How do you feel about this text-to-speech voice? Would you prefer if I did something like Shy Guy Mask and Wand of Sparking and just have text on the screen? Would you like me to try out other voices? Funnily enough, while making this video, CapCut, my editing software and where I'm getting this voice, removed this text-to-speech voice, so I had to do some trickery to use it. DDT rounds are starting to be an issue, so I have to use a genie on round 95 and 99. Now this is where the run gets interesting. To save money, I'll stall on the purples of round 101 using creepy idols so the genies don't despawn. Purples are the only thing genies can't damage, so they're the only type of bloon I can stall. This is also why I made sure to place turrets where they can't see the entrance. I could have placed even less genies, but luckily tier 5 isn't that tight. Rounds are starting to get hard. Most of my recording on this run isn't while trying to damage the boss, but from trying to greet on the normal rounds. Now all rounds need some help, not just the DDT rounds. I'm running out of things to say, so do you like how I added sound effects like placing Geraldo items? Every sound you hear was added in post because I currently can't record game sounds. This is by far the hardest part of the run. At first I tried just placing as many genies on round 120 as possible, but that only got one skull in. Next, I tried buying all genies and Jerry's fires, but alas, about the same result, and with bloonarius also over halfway. There was no way for the run to be done. I said it was impossible, called it for the night, and went to bed. Lying in bed, I thought what would have to happen to make this possible, and then I had a very good idea. The only way it would be possible was if I could stall, and the only thing genies can stall on are purples. The next day I woke up and went to check if there were any purples from round 120 to round 140. And there it was, on round 129, 77 purples. The only way this would be possible was if I could get to round 129, then stall on those purples, and buy all the genies mid-round. The difficulty starts right away, with basically every round needing multiple genies. I need to get to round 129 as fast as possible, so I have the most track length left to pop bloonarius. I'm still buying every Jerry's fire and turret to help with the rounds, and placing idols and glue on the hard ones. As round 128 hits, it's time to start placing. Both genies and creepy idols last 2 rounds, which is why I'm starting now instead of earlier or later. I need to start placing fast, so I'm using hotkeys for all 3 items. I also sell the action figure that I placed all the way at the start of the run. To help with the skull spawns, I also placed some glues. Sadly, after all that, it's not enough. Time for attempt 2. The issue was I didn't stall enough, so on the second attempt I always had 4 genies to deal with the rounds faster. This run is looking a lot better, with more than enough time to kill bloonarius. Third run from round 120. Yay! Same thing as the last one, just Geraldo on strong. If you made it this far, like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I'm not sure if drawing my bedroom was a very good or very bad idea. More than half of the time making this video was spent on it. It's kind of funny how I'm posting a version 44.0 video just before version 45. Even after the 2 months of making this video, I don't think anyone else has done this legit. I'm not sure if I'll continue the video I was working on before this, or do the video that won the poll. I might just make a video on black badging bloody puddles since last time I did it I used a guide. Bye!